So I thought I'd run through with you how I get perfect placement on strap keepers. So this is how the strap keepers will come. This screw here is actually just a it's just a placement screw. It's just to sort of keep them together. So when they come, you will literally just unscrew them from each other. And they will just come apart. So I'm just going to use one for the time being and show you how I would install it. So this is a 25mm strap keeper. Some places they do come in various sizes. I only stock 25mm at the moment. And again, occasionally they'll come looking slightly differently. These are a fairly square looking one. Sometimes they're a little bit more rounded, just depending on which supplier they've come from. Sometimes they will come with a back plate. You'll usually find hardware will come with a back plate and screws if the screws are only very small. If the screws are larger, like these ones are, you don't actually need a back plate because the screws have a back surface to them to keep them in place. So these ones come with the large screws, and you can see that the screws go into these holes here. So if you were to get a different size strap keeper, you can get 20mm ones, you can get 25mm ones, 32, 38, of various different size straps. So what I do, in order to make sure that I get the placement perfect, is with each one is I measure the distance between the holes, and I do it with one of these little gadgets here. And I do it just to make sure that I get the same distance between the holes I'm going to make as the holes in the strap keeper, because they may vary slightly between each one. So these ones it's 3 centimeters between. So what you would do, where your strap keeper needed to go, you would literally make marks at 3 centimeters apart. And what I like to use is this to make my holes. So you can use a normal leather punch. I just find this a little bit easier because usually a pattern piece that I'm putting strap keepers onto are a little bit bigger, and they're sometimes difficult to get the leather punch into. So I use these, which is a Japanese screw punch, and I literally line it up against the hole and push down. So there, so I've made the holes. So what I've done is I've made sure that I have some Decaville light behind this pattern piece. Usually a pattern piece would have some Decaville light on it if you were placing something like screw keepers to it, but if it didn't, just in the area where you're putting the strap keeper, just adhere a small amount, probably if you're using like this size strap keeper, maybe about a 2" by 1" piece, just to make sure that you've got plenty around where the strap keeper is going to be, just to give it that little bit extra stability and structure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop the screws through the piece, and I'm just going to put the strap keeper in place. I'm then just going to use my little screwdriver just to screw these in place. And what you want to make sure that you're doing is that you're lining it up fully, and with this you can probably see, I'm going to try and show you, and I've done this on purpose to show you how to correct it, is that there's a little bit of space between where the screws stop, because they won't screw in any further, and where this vinyl is, because this vinyl is quite thin. So obviously when you look at it, you can see that there's a gap there. So what you would do in this instance is you would use something behind the screw to give it extra depth. So you could use a little bit of foam, you could use a little bit of extra Decaville light folded up. I actually have some fusible fleece somewhere, I can't find it, give me 2 seconds. Aha, I knew I had it, I hadn't brought it over with me. So I've got a few extra pieces of fusible fleece. So all you'd need to do to make sure that you get that extra depth, and they don't need to be really large pieces, they just need to be large enough to give that extra bit of depth, is cut a hole through them, place the screw through the hole of the fusible fleece, or foam if you're using foam first, then through the vinyl, then into the strap keeper. You just need to make sure that it's, wrong one, lined up properly. And that's got a much better finish to it. That is much flatter to the vinyl now. Hopefully you can see that. There isn't a gap. So all I've done is I've just laid up that fusible fleece twice. Could have probably gotten away with actually maybe folding it in 3 as well. So if I'd folded it in 3, punched the hole through, put the screw through, and then done the same, I think it would probably work as well. So sometimes you've just got to play with the thickness. Obviously if the vinyl you're using is fairly thick, sometimes where you're putting the strap keeper to, the pattern piece might have foam to it as well, so you wouldn't need to do this. But if it does only have, say, Decaville light or vinyl, you might want to consider just adding in this extra level, just to make sure that those pieces of hardware sit exactly flush to the vinyl, and you don't have pieces of the sort of the screw showing. So that is how you would fit a strap keeper to your bag piece. Obviously I'm using a little scrap piece of fabric here to show you, and then you would just repeat that in the other pieces of your bag pattern where you were applying strap keepers. So I hope you found that helpful. Please do consider giving the video a like and subscribing to the channel, and I will see you next time. Bye.